Hello, hello, hello. Hi, I hope you can see me. Hi, I think I started too soon. Hi, hello, good afternoon. I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, regain control of your life, just like I did. Hope you're well. It's a beautiful, if cold, day here in my part of the world. And so when it's cold and wintry, I like to do my videos in front of the fire. I will transition to other parts of the house as things get warmer. If someone can let me know that you can see and hear me, that would be great. I am going to just press on as if you can. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this format, you can chat and I will do my best to respond to any comments or questions, but you guys respond to each other all the time. Hey, Alex, hello. Chante Copeland, yes, you can. Great. I'm going to talk today about actually something that came up coincidentally in our Patreon group on a patron-only live stream yesterday. And then yesterday afternoon, I was reminded of it when I was in Costco. All right, so first of all, I'm going to tell you my experience, how I learned the ketogenic protocol, how I have practiced it. Carbohydrate intake remains at 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net carbs. Net carbs just means more carbs. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, but you don't even need a page 4. Just eat fatty sources of protein, limited non-starchy vegetables, and full-fat dairy limited as well if you can tolerate it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That's it. Right. And so what's interesting about the page 4 thing is if you follow it, it'll work. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Well, we live in a commercial world. Commerce is important. But let's not be fooled. It is the job of food manufacturers to try to sell us food. And the term du jour is keto. So if you go around and you're seeing keto on everything, on food labels, the front, so I'm not talking about the nutrition labels. We want to read those, and they better be accurate because those are regulated. You know what's not regulated? The term keto. It's just not. It didn't even really exist until about 5 years ago. Ketogenic is a term, but keto as a diet didn't exist. But it is all the rage. So what's a food manufacturer to do? We've got this very, on fire term. So let's make sure that our food says it's keto, but of course it can say it is. But you know what? There are not keto chocolate and peanut butter cups. Let me just disabuse you of that. They can say they're keto. And then you look at the nutrition label and they'll say, it's 4 net carbs. And then you look on the back, it's 21 carbs. And they're backing out sugar alcohols or diet fibrograms, which is not really a thing. It's more carbs. So please be careful. That's not a thing. I'm going to write a blog post probably later today. And a link to my blog is down there. It's not published yet, but I will. Because I can't show you the photographs. I took photographs whilst in Costco, showing the couple of products. One was keto granola, which not hashtag my friend Jen, although she is my friend. Jen in Minnesota, who's a patron, she said that she saw the same thing and she just shook her head. I think she said she audibly groaned. Keto granola. That is like saying a vegan chicken egg. It isn't. Oh, look at this egg. it's vegan. No, it's not. It's not vegan because it's from an animal. It's not the same. It's like saying, here's a free book and the price is $9.99. You can say it's free on the title, but if it costs $9.99, it's not free. So the other one was, I'll have to look, I can't remember, and I can't share a screen here. But the other, what was it? Keto, it was some kind of, keto cookie clusters or something like that. Please don't be fooled by that. I know we want things that we love to eat to not make us unhealthy and fat. I know that. I want that. It doesn't work that way. You know, I imagine there are people that would like monogamy to mean you can go out with as many people as you wish. But that's not the way monogamy works. It just isn't. Here's the deal. So a patron on the live stream at Tapped, I'm having to deal with cravings and when I want something snacky. So I bought some keto chocolate peanut butter cups at Costco. And it's a live stream and it's a chat. But there were many responses into suggesting what this person should do with those. And then she ultimately did it before the end of the session. She tossed them all out and then she poured Dawn dishwashing detergent on top of them. Here's a couple of things. If a food product is using the word keto, you can almost guarantee that it's not. Why? Because most shelf-stable items can't be shelf-stable unless they are made of things that are off of page 4. Oat flake. Almond flour. Guess what? Almond flour is not on the ketogenic protocol. Why? Because almonds aren't on the ketogenic protocol. Nuts are not on the ketogenic protocol as I learned it and as I practice it. Everyone else can do what works for them. This is what worked for me. And the people with whom I talk and work, the ones who are most successful, they just stick to it. They just don't play. Beyond the, carb grams and between the actual calories, we don't count calories, but ultimately calories count. Beyond just those numbers, the idea of eating sweet snack food can get us into a mindset that is not going to serve us well. It's just not gonna. I do not want to partake or anything fake versions of the food that got me here in the first place. Because there is, for many of us, an mental component. Mental being a smash up of the words emotional and mental, which I said one morning during a video snippet before coffee. But there can be a component to it. And at the base of it, if you have a craving, don't feed it. You know the example I'm going to use if you've heard me a couple of times. What you don't do to a craving is feed it, because then it comes back like a stray cat. And I know of what I speak. We have a cat that we fed 17 years ago. She showed up on our side porch. She was 5 months old. We didn't want any more animals. We had plenty, but we got her fixed because we didn't want other little strays around. The vet said, just keep her, quiet for 24 hours, then she's fine. Well, she simply declined to leave after the 24. She lived on our side porch, on our side porch and side yard. She now is inside most of the time because she's 17 and she's quite frail. Don't feed a craving. It's not a life emergency. Honestly, it's not. And let's get away from thinking of snacks. That's like a substitute meal. It's like a pretend meal. Let's get away from thinking about meals. Food is fuel. How much fuel do you require right now to be able to go about your life? That can vary day to day, person to person, within one person. My fuel requirements are different on different days. They're pretty steady, but some days I require more and some days I require less. But I don't think in terms of breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Some of what I am labeling my evening plate of or portion of fuel for the I'm hungry, so I'm going to have some fuel would be someone else's snack. I just require less sometimes. So let's change our thinking, but please do not believe those labels. Slim Fast just stuck keto on their shakes. And I'm sure they got paleo in there swimming around somewhere. You can still see paleo, which was the keto of 5 years ago. Also in Costco yesterday, I saw paleo bars. I'm sure Paleolithic man and woman just went to the neighborhood convenience store and got themselves some bars. Again, not a regulated term. Please be careful. Stick to whole, healthy, nutritious food. I promise there's no nutrition in a so-called keto chocolate peanut butter cup. The whole point of eating is to fuel and nourish our body so that we can be as strong and as vital as possible for as long as possible. Right? Just think about some of people you may know. They may be in your family. They may be your spouse who are suffering chronic illness because of food choices. So I'm sorry to say that, but that's what it comes down to. Okay, so this t-shirt, stay keto, stay healthy. Never been a more important time. And you can see this t-shirt at my Teespring shop. Okay, now I'm going to do a little commercial break. Shameless Commerce Division. Apologies to the Car Talk guys. You don't have to buy special foods. As a matter of fact, don't buy special foods. Supplements, powders, potions, shakes, MCT oil, things to so-called jumpstart your keto. Just lay off the carbs. You don't have to buy anything to be 100% successful. But in my effort to pay for my upkeep around here, I thought this was cute. It's a face mask. It says, it's hard to read. It says, there may be bacon in here. Go keto with Casey. And t-shirts. And a 12-month record book with quotes and charts and things, which you can get at Amazon. You can also get a spiral bound one. The Amazon one is cheaper and you'll get it faster. The spiral bound one you can get at my blog, but it will take longer to get there. But some people prefer spiral. They're exactly the same books. And they're just for fun. They have even a couple of adult coloring pages in the back. And my calendars, which are a few left. You don't have to buy anything, right? But hopefully anything I produce is with an eye to motivation. And that's what we need. We need inspiration. We need motivation. Ultimately, our decisions are ours. We must own them. We can't blame it on the fact that, you're married to a food pusher. Unless that person is actually cramming food down your gob, they may push it. You don't have to take it any more than your kid has to take the drugs from a drug pusher. I mean, it's that basic. Our decisions are ours, but it can help to be reminded of some things. So like in the record book, there's some places you can make, log things and track things. I don't think the word weight is in there and the word food is not in there. It's about behavior. And then there's some quotes and things. And then some blank pages or dot journal pages. What am I drinking? Glass filled with ice, diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry juice, and a squeeze of lime. I get asked almost every time. Right, so, there are keto ice cream bars you can see. Spoiler alert, there's no such thing as keto ice cream. Why? Why do you say that? because cream on page 4 is limited to 2 tablespoons a day. How much ice cream are you going to make out of 2 tablespoons? Nothing. So I can see some familiar names. I see some patrons here. Thank you so much. I have a private Patreon support group where, depending on your pledge level, you get 20 pre-recorded videos from me a month. I make them every weekday morning. I've made over 800, and patrons get to suggest the topics. Going up from there, a few patron-only live streams on Crowdcast each month. Going up from there, a few patron-only video group sessions on Zoom a month. I am no longer taking new one-on-one coaching, which is the next level. If a space opens up, oh, excuse me. He just remembered, it's my husband. He just remembered that I'm doing a live stream. He probably will text. That's good. It means he's landed. He flies. He's a general aviation pilot. I assume that means he landed safely. He likes to check in with me to let me know that everything's good. All righty. So thank you, patrons, and the fabulous Debbie Doctor. Shell writes, with delicious ribeye steaks around, who needs these keto junk foods? And they are junk food. Hold, please. He is texting me. I want to make sure I'm seeing this. Hold, please. My patrons are well aware of me communicating with my lovely mate. Hold. I'm responding. I'll take this. I'm sorry. Sorry, but I must, as needs must. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, it is junk food. It is junk food. There's no nutrition in it. The point of eating is to nourish ourselves, right? The point of sleeping is to restore ourselves. We don't have to overthink it. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I love your 12-month journal. Tracking helps me immensely. Thank you. I'm glad you're getting some use out of it. Safe flying or non, writes Debbie. So I was going to, it is easy to be lured by keto cookbooks, keto dessert books, keto, let's make it easy, YouTube channels. It is simple. But do what works for you. Many people are very successful on Weight Watchers. But as the old joke goes, I can give up smoking. I've done it 25 times. You have to keep kind of going back, right? You start every year to start again. I was on Weight Watchers, then I went off, and then I came back on. No one is ever going to go broke telling people what they want to hear. And I want to hear that someone has developed a truly keto Oreo cookie, but they haven't, and they're not going to. I would love to hear that I no longer need to be conscientious about my food choices, that I can eat whatever I want. My blood sugar is going to remain stable. It is rock solid stable. My blood pressure will be fine. I won't have acid reflux. I will no longer be morbidly obese. For those of you who don't know, you can see previous photographs at my blog. None of those are even at my heaviest. I was morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. And on the flip side of wanting to hear what we want to believe, we want to believe that our special circumstance means we can't make good food choices. I've asked Dr. Eric Westman of Duke University, many of you are very familiar with Dr. Westman, point blank, is there any medical condition of which you are aware that prohibits or where the ketogenic protocol would be contraindicated? Nope. He's a traditionally trained internist. He's been doing this for 20 years since he learned the protocol from Jackie Eberstein and Dr. Robert Atkins and became a convert. He has seen it all. Postmenopausal, hysterectomy, cancer survivor. I'm just going to keep raising my hands. Short. And then you've got people who say, well, I can't do it. I don't have a gallbladder. Wrong. I can't do it. I'm afraid I'll get a bad gallbladder. Wrong. It'll cause kidney stones. Wrong. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Okay. There's a patron in my group. I just call her, she's the one of everything. She has MS, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. I believe did she have a hysterectomy? And she's postmenopausal. Yes. So let's keep in mind, the food manufacturer's job is to sell food. It's on us whether we play the sucker. As P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every minute. And that's how he became a very famous person, showing things at the sideshows. Hey, I'm going to scroll up. Excuse me. Jan Lamaran writes, I bought 2 keto products and I felt bloated after eating this peanut butter cup. Yes, it's peanut. Peanuts are not nuts. They're legumes. Nuts, even if it was a nut, is not on page 4. They're calorically and carb dense. And you just can't get there from here. You can't get from here, I'm ketogenic, to a peanut bar, a keto peanut bar. You just can't. Mom Dog writes, I tried counting calories and developed an obsession with food. Cutting out carbs is a no-brainer and it works. It works naturally. If you follow through, yes, thank you. If you follow through with the last couple of tenets, don't eat if you're not hungry and stop when you're satiated. Both of those are challenges because we have decades, pun intended, under our belts of eating when the clock says to eat. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. False. If you don't eat every 2 or 3 hours, your metabolism will tank and you'll go into starvation. False. We have to unlearn a lot of stuff. Some of it is the medical piece, like eggs, or the cholesterol in eggs will give you a heart attack. That's just wrong. Some of it is habitual. We have to relearn and retrain ourselves. It's hard, which is why maybe a little record book will help. I mean, it's got habit trackers in here. There's a habit tracker. I mean, it's just simple. It's just a simple little thing. And I really did this to experiment with something. That's why I created it. Now, some habits, it's not all about removing all of our habits. We want to replace bad habits with better ones. And another thing, step away from obsessing about food. It's liberating for food not to be the boss of you. Again, at my Teespring store, there's a sticker. Food is not the boss of me. It's fantastic. I mean, food not being the boss of me. Stickers, mediocre. But so what do you do now that food is not the center of your life? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe you'll take up horseback riding again, or join a book club, or redecorate your living room, or learn a new language, or start dating. As long as you're not married, don't do that, Again, monogamy. People who kind of do so-called cheat days. If it works for you, fine. But that's kind of like doing. Do you have cheat days when you're monogamous? You either are monogamous or you are not. You're either following the protocol or you're not. If you have tolerances for more carbs, I don't, then great. But also keep in mind that your tolerances may change over time and as you grow smaller. What is correct for a 30-something male who's never had a weight issue and maybe already is a gym rat, it's going to be very different than my needs. I'm 62. I'm 5'1". I'm fit. I tend to lay on lean muscle easily. I'm very pleased with my arms. I've been working on the total gym, except the last 2 weeks, not as consistently as before. But I'm postmenopausal. I have different needs. So just keep that in mind. Okie dokie. Suzanne. Hey, Suzanne. She writes, hi. Shell F writes, at Kevin, dietitians have to go by that stupid pyramid. Stay far away. Yes. Fortunately, we don't have to do what dietitians and nutritionists tell us. Kevin Nottingham writes, I was following Dr. Westman's page 4 diet, and she said he is not properly. Okay, you're talking to wait a minute. Somebody said that he is not a real doctor? Well, that just is a dumb thing to say and shows total lack of actual factual knowledge. Look up his bio. He's a doctor at Duke University. He's a medical doctor. Idiot. So that's a good reason not to listen to that person. It is absurd. Thank you, Shell. It's just stupid. Okay, so there's someone who doesn't know what they are talking about. Full stop. Sherry Brink writes, the protocol Casey teaches works. I'm down 23 pounds from December 26th. That is fantastic. And I learned it from Dr. Westman. Not personally. I've never been a patient of his. I saw his white coat video. We are now friends. And that's just because I'm the luckiest person you will ever meet in the whole world. I mean, my whole life has been nothing but luck. I have always had a great life. I was unhappy with myself, and I felt terrible physically and mentally in my brain. And I gave up on losing weight. I didn't do this to lose weight. I did it to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes. Okay, Kevin writes, Shell, I live in the UK. I have type 2 diabetes, so unfortunately can't. You can't do what? You can't ignore a nutrition. Yes, you can. They're not the boss of you either. Just because she suggested you eat doesn't mean you have to follow her advice. Do what works for you. Absolutely. We give these people way too much credit sometimes. Shell writes, I'm keeping the government out of healthcare and of my food choices. And listen, in the UK, Asim Malorta, he's a cardiologist. All right? Check out Asim Malorta. ASEEMMALHORTA. He was just on Good Morning Britain or whatever it's, Good Day England or something. He was on a morning show just being interviewed. Asim Malorta. So I think Dr. Asim Malorta, a cardiologist, knows more than a nutritionist. Be your own health advocate. Absolutely. Been hovering, this is from Denise Anderson, been hovering for 2 months, staying the course and listening to my body. Okay, so hovering, thank you for using the word hovering. Around Go Keto with Casey, we try to get certain words out of our vernacular. It's a hover, which sounds a lot better than plateau or stall. It means just very good word. But a hover, a true hover, means no ounces and no inches lost in at least 4 weeks. So sometimes the tape measure or your trousers will tell you much more than the scale will. So just keep going. So I'm glad you're staying the course. Sometimes we start hovering because we now know how much to eat to maintain our weight. We need less fuel. Hey, Doris. On the front cover of Women's World, February 1st issue, Dr. Westman and Judy Tucker. Is Judy here today? Yes. Judy's a patron. She's lost 130 pounds. Not because she's a patron, but I think she's a patron because she lost 130 pounds. And she's very kind. She always credits me and Dr. Westman, which I think, Dr. Westman. I'm finally losing again thanks to fasting. Good for you. I'm glad that works for you. I am not an advocate. But if it just means eating less food, you're just eating less. I do not believe in arbitrarily depriving myself of fuel if I'm actually empty and actually hungry and need the fuel. To me, that is fasting. Just not eating because you're not hungry or you're just peckish. That to me is, but I'm glad it's working for you. Is Judy here? So proud of Judy. Oh, okay. It was requested of me. Let me see, I'm going to wrap up here soon. It was requested of me that I kind of have a clearinghouse place where events, either my events or other things, and I don't do other people's, but anything I'm even, that I'm involved with. So I posted my schedule at my blog, and there'll be links to like the upcoming Durham support group meeting online on Crowdcast with Dr. Westman and me Tuesday of this coming week. Free. It is a registered event because the spaces are limited, but it's free. And then me and Amy Berger and I do Wednesday wine day, so that'll be on there. Links to other stuff. So if you're interested in my schedule, there, and also there are links to all the swag. Kathleen says, I don't go hungry. Then you're just eating because you're not hungry. Well, I have a problem with that F word. It's the other F word. But I'm kind of picky about words. Kevin, maybe you just need to, don't worry about it then. We have the National Health Service in here and don't approve keto. And if you want medications you have to see your medics. You have a wonderful keto support group in the States and lots of keto foods. There are not keto foods. They're just lay off the carbs. Get away from the keto foods. So I'm sorry, does the NHS follow you around and monitor what you eat? There are people in this group right now who will tell you their doctors disapproved, threatened to fire them if they followed the protocol, wanted them to take statins, and then 6 months later, they go back to the doctor, and the doctor says, oh my gosh, you've lost 25 pounds. That's fantastic. What did you do? I ignored your advice. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Keep whatever you're doing, keep it up. You have to stand up for yourself. No, we don't have a great support. We fight. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Jack. He did so well today, y'all. Look at that. There he goes. Jack. He usually goes berserk when the big red truck, my husband's truck, comes down the road. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you to patrons. You can check out I've got a lot of links below. The green log books, like I said, it's cheaper and you get it faster from Amazon because Amazon. And the spiral one is at my blog, and the calendars, whatever's left, is at the blog, and everything else is at Teespring. I'm just trying to provide for my way, trying to pay my keep. Thank you. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, no matter what the NHS says, honestly. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. It can pretty much, hey, Scott, it can pretty much be boiled down to lay off the carbs. If you lay off the carbs, your appetite will be suppressed and you won't eat as much. And your blood sugar will be regulated. Thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you for sharing your story. And I hope you know that all the feedback to you is meant as support and not attack. So have a good one. Ta-ta.